This is the PR Podcast, a show about how public relations helps you tell your story to the world. We talk with great PR practitioners who have the skills, creativity, and just plain savvy to get their clients noticed. Now here's your host, Jody Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PR Podcast. I'm Jody Fisher. Thanks for joining us. Well, don't forget to send us your PR Podcast plug. This is turnkey. This is easy. This is you getting to promote yourself in a way that us PR people normally don't, right? We're trained to not promote ourselves. We're trained to promote our clients because that's what we get paid for. But every once in a while, you do something that's really cool. At least I hope you do, right? Maybe you've got a cooking channel on YouTube. Maybe you got a great TikTok. Maybe you wrote a book, you won an award, you did something cool outside of your 9 to 5 working for your clients, right? Let us know, let us love on you a little bit and send us your PR Podcast plug. Just DM it to the PR Podcast. Let us know something cool you did. We'll give you a plug at the top of an upcoming show and give you the love that you so much deserve. Now let's get on with our show. We got a terrific guest today. Danielle Ruckert is the healthcare practice lead at RH Strategic, where she combines her creative mindset and business acumen to help clients increase brand awareness, build thought leadership, and manage reputations across the government, technology, and primarily the healthcare sectors. She's also held roles at the Pew Charitable Trusts and at a U.S. Coast Guard grant project where she helped to develop an on-water safety standard. She describes her vision as helping clients enact positive change through messaging and sharing their stories with as many people as possible. Danielle, welcome to the PR Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
That last line in your intro there describes what we all do, right? We help clients tell their story and we help tell it to as many people as possible. But it's not as easy as it sounds, right? Give us your philosophy on how you work with your clients to sort of drill down on those stories that are going to move their needle.
Sure. Well, at RH Strategic, we spend a lot of time thinking about the innovation economy, and we think about what makes our clients unique and different and interesting. And so my approach is always to try to understand what the most simple piece of their story is and how they're able to flip that into a message that shows the impact they're having on typically healthcare. So I look for things like, what would my grandparents be most interested in about this medical device? Or if a health insurer that I'm working with is launching a new health plan, I think about what makes this health plan work better for people and how can they interact better with the system. So really trying to simplify things and make it as interesting and personable as possible.
That is the key to success, right? And it's so great to hear you put yourself in the receiver's seat, right? The person who's consuming the message. Because I think when working with clients, we can so often get caught up and they can get caught up in being in the fill in the media outlet, right? The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, CNN, whatever that thing is. And they
Right.
forget about what they're really there for, which is talking to their customer, their supporter, their stakeholder, right?
Right, exactly. In media training, we talk a lot about how reporters are a channel to your real audience, not necessarily the folks you're speaking with directly. So, putting yourself in the shoes of the people you ultimately want to receive the message helps a lot.
So true, so true. Now you are a master thought leadership builder, right? And so many people want to be a thought leader. I think a lot of them want to be one and don't even really know what it is.
Right.
But but if you would, because you do so much of it and you do so great at it in your work, define thought leadership the way you describe it and work it with your clients, and then talk about what are some of the key elements of a successful strategy.
Sure. Well, for me, there's two different types of thought leadership. There's executive thought leadership, so an executive's brand and story, and that's maybe more of the like personal spin on the company's business objectives. And then there's brand thought leadership, which is more focused on how is the brand shaping the marketplace for the future. And that's a lot more about broadly discussing changing market dynamics and the future of the way that in healthcare we deliver, receive, or interact with the healthcare system. For me, when I'm coaching executives on thought leadership and what it means to be a thought leader and how they can partner with us to build a successful strategy, it really comes down to three things. I think executives need to have, or obviously executives need to have a unique opinion that really moves the needle for their business, right? We're doing this with an objective in mind. But they need to have a perspective, right? They need to be saying something different and adding value to the news cycle, not just adding to the noise. They need to be charismatic and genuine. They need to be someone that you listen to and you think, oh, I could sit down with them and have a cup of coffee or a beer. I really want to hear more. So they need to be able to present in a way that's very likable. And then finally, they need to have something to say that their target audiences care about. So they can talk all day about the future of our healthcare system or any other topic, but if they're not able to distill those messages in a way that resonates with their target audience, they're not going to get very far in their communications objectives.
Love that practical approach that you have there, because I do agree with you that CEOs or executives who lead a brand or who are the voice of their product, their company, whatever, when they think of thought leadership, they immediately go like into the stratosphere with their goals and their language and it's great to hear you urge them to kind of come back down to earth and be very practical with it.
Definitely. People want to follow people. They don't want to follow companies, right? So you want to make sure that while you're working with executives to build a brand, you're making sure that it builds on the personal passions and ideas that they have.
Measurement is the other, I guess, end of the pendulum. Terrible analogy there. Oof. You can tell it's Friday afternoon. But measurement is important in any media campaign. It's certainly important in thought leadership. Is there a way that you measure the effectiveness of thought leadership? I mean, is it just selling more widgets or getting more donations to the nonprofit, or is there something else?
That is the never ending question in PR, right? In our industry. So of course, there are lots of ways and different methodologies to measure thought leadership. In my work at RH Strategic, we have a model that we refer to as the RQM model. So when we think about measurement, we apply this model to any type of measurement, whether it's brand building campaigns or executive thought leadership campaigns, or maybe like a more focused content strategy. RQM stands for reach, quality, momentum. So we look at the reach of the components of the campaign, the quality. So are messages coming through? Are they coming through at the top of an article? What's the domain authority of the placement or the content, that kind of thing. And then we measure momentum over time. So we want to make sure that the reach and the quality of the work that we're doing continue to grow and have an impact. And then, of course, we feed that back into the planning cycle, which I'm sure we're all in the middle of at this point in the year. So we make sure that we're optimizing our campaign for the year ahead.
Yeah, if someone I mean, right, it's around the time of the start of a new year. If someone wants to be looking to grow their thought leadership for 2025, oh my goodness, 2025, are there baby steps they can start to take? Do they have to jump in the deep end of the pool? I mean, how do you get going?
Sure. So for me, the easiest place to start is with platforms you already own and you're comfortable with. Of course, we want to make sure that executives are building on the places where executives are talking about what they know and building on channels that already exist before they go experiment with a bunch of things. Um, I typically work with folks to start campaigns on LinkedIn because that seems to be a channel that most people are comfortable with. They're comfortable using, they're comfortable interacting with their peers on. So you can start an executive thought leadership program with something as simple as committing to post regularly 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe you commit to yourself or to your PR team that you will work together to create one long form of piece of content every couple of weeks. So that way you are giving that unique perspective to the market, and you're not just posting, hey, check out this cool new partnership I was part of. You're talking about the partnership in a way that differentiates your opinion and shares why you think this is unique and important to the industry moving it forward.
Yeah, I think that's some great advice getting started with the platforms that you're most familiar with. And LinkedIn definitely, when you're talking about thought leadership, is probably the primary one,
Mhm.
especially when you want to be talking to other business leaders or to a business community or what have you. Are there, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but are there are there any particular things you like to do on LinkedIn you think that are really effective for a thought leader or a CEO or a leader on LinkedIn? Is it regular posting? Is it publishing blogs? Is it commenting on other people's posts? Is it using video? Anything that you really like people to be doing?
I like to use LinkedIn as an owned channel for businesses. So for me, I think about LinkedIn as almost another blog for an executive, but a way to put the personal spin on it. I like to use LinkedIn as a way to release new insights or data or announcements from a company that might not be press release worthy or earned media worthy, but might be able to gain some momentum on LinkedIn and reach target audiences in the same or reach target audiences with those important data points or unique insights, um, and then build momentum around them.
Yeah, that's a great point. To use it as a blog, I love that idea. I have encouraged my clients, especially when they're starting to get in the habit of writing blogs, or writing, sort of long form thought pieces, is to get into the habit of publishing versus posting them. Now,
Mhm.
certainly you can, publish it on your website and then post on LinkedIn and drive people back to the website. That makes sense. But I've heard that there's a lot of value in actually publishing, like publishing a blog, a thought piece on LinkedIn. Do you have any experience with that? If you don't, that's okay. But do you have any experience with that? And if you do you have any perspective on it, the publish versus post idea?
We find that posting long form content definitely performs well and results in a lot more engagement. We see a lot more folks from a person's network either comment on something or share it if it's a long form piece of content, as opposed to you sharing something and then someone else sharing that something. It just gets very clunky. But when you're posting original content and it's like 4 or 5 paragraphs and it has those unique insights that you might not have announced anywhere else, but you're breaking the news on LinkedIn, um, we find that that tends to resonate really well with audiences.
I love that breaking news on LinkedIn. That's so cool. Because I agree, and and sometimes news might not get picked up in other places in the way that you want it to, and so you can use those owned channels, like you said, to really catapult that forward. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Now, the whole idea here for us and working with our clients is to make them stand out, right? To make sure that we give them the ultra unique veneer that they're seeking and the ultra unique perspective that they're trying to put out there. How can you differentiate the leader, the thought leader, the brand? How do you make that brand stand out? How do you make the thought leader stand out? Are there things that they have to do? Is there a checklist that you have with them?
We do have a checklist. Typically, the checklist is rooted in making sure that they are bringing unique insights to the market. They're not seeing something that's already out there and repeated widely. We want to make sure that their perspective is rooted in data or anecdotal evidence, so that way we're able to back up the thoughts that we have. And then we want to make sure that that perspective has a forward-looking impact. So we or a forward-looking vision, I should say. So we want to make sure that looking ahead, what can others take from this and learn from this executive's perspective and use it to shape their own thinking about their business or the work that they're doing that day.
Standing out is definitely the key. Definitely the key. Do you have any? You don't have to drop names here, but do you have sort of a one that you could refer to, or one that pops out in your mind and saying, "Wow, we did that one really well," or "They did that really well"?
Um, I can't speak to any of my clients, but there's a digital health company called the Maven Clinic, and their executives do a really, really impressive job of talking to the marketplace with thought leadership ideas that are very inclusive. They're very culturally sensitive. They're always rooted in data, whether it's the latest data from the CDC or the organization's data that they pull from their own platform. So they appear and their messages seem to resonate better because they seem to speak very authentically and all of their perspectives are backed up by data. So at least for me, I think that that's like the gold standard of thought leadership.
Good stuff. Now, once you've got out there and you've got your brand out there, you've got your thought leader out there, um, and as you said, you have to be forward looking and sort of be unique and offer something that nobody else is offering. Um, that can sometimes put a target on your back or just attract more attention, right? And now you have to move into sort of maintaining that reputation and protecting the brand. Are there things you need to protect while you're pushing the envelope on thought leadership? Do you also have to protect things?
Of course. I don't know about you, but I think that the best PR people have a healthy level of paranoia about the campaigns that they're running. So they're always anticipating any outcome to any situation, closely monitoring news cycles and key conversations and social media, and then in real time preparing to address those kinds of scenarios as they come up. I know I myself am constantly like playing through 10 or 12 different PR strategies at any given time to make sure that I'm not caught unprepared or my clients are not caught unprepared and that we can quickly respond and mitigate a crisis or a challenging situation if it comes.
Yeah, that's where our overactive imaginations play in our favor, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely have to be prepared for those things because, quite frankly, that's why people come to us.
Hmm.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Well, this has been some great information that you've shared with us, Danielle. Thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it. We are not done with you yet, however. We're going to segue now into the rapid fire question portion of our podcast, where we steal a page from inside the actor's studio. We ask our guests a series of rapid fire questions meant to elicit a simple answer, maybe a laugh or two. I think we'll manage that today with your indulgence. Danielle Ruckert, let's begin with rapid fire question number one. What is your favorite news source?
I am an Axios girl. I love their whole simple brevity concept. I subscribe to probably 6 of their daily newsletters. Axios all the way.
Yeah, not the first person to mention that. That's a good one. Yeah, they're definitely popular. Rapid fire question number two. What's your favorite social media platform?
I'm gonna have to say Instagram.
Love the photos. I'm a selfie fan. I love seeing my friends.
Yeah, I have a young daughter, so we spend a lot of time on Instagram looking at other people's pictures, our pictures, kid pictures, all that.
Oh, it's fantastic. Rapid fire question number three. Coffee or alcohol?
Can I say both?
Yes, you can. Rapid fire question number four. What's your favorite on the run food?
Oh, coffee for the food and then alcohol for coffee or alcohol.
Okay. There you go. All right. So that's the previous question. All right,
Yeah,
let's go to the food question now. Go to the food question. What's your favorite on the run food?
on the run food, I typically am carrying around an iced coffee. So if that counts as food, that's my on the run
Oh, there
food.
you
But
go.
if you're looking for a snack to go, I usually like to have popcorn in the office as I'm running between meetings and those kinds of things.
There you go. And you're the mom of a little one, so you got it. You're always on the run, right?
Exactly.
So great. And rapid fire question number 5. What do you want to be after you finish this career?
That's such a good question. Probably, I would probably run a flower farm in Northern Virginia. I'm based in Washington, D.C., so maybe something like right outside toward the Shenandoah Mountains.
Wow, that is a great answer. We've not heard one of those before. That's awesome. Do you have a favorite flower in mind that you want to try to raise?
I think I could have a nice sunflower farm, maybe some chickens. It would be lovely.
Sounds good to me. Danielle, this has been a great conversation. Please let people know how they can find you online.
You can find me at rhstrategic.com where I work. I'm also pretty regularly on LinkedIn, so feel free to connect with me there. Just my first and last name.
Sounds good. We'll put all the links in the show notes. Danielle, thank you for being here today. And thank you everyone for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the show, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The PR Podcast, and send us a question or a comment. Our intro is by Christopher Apple. You can find him and his fantastic photography on Instagram at Christopher_APPOLDT. Check him out there and hire him for all your photography needs. You can find me online at Jody Fisher on all the socials and on the web at jodyfisherpr.com. We'll see you next time on the PR Podcast.